Hi everyone, welcome to your movement space. I'm so glad that you turned this on. Welcome, welcome. And in today's Bowspring class, there's an emphasis on opening the shoulders and the neck. Okay, raise your hand if you feel like you have tight shoulders and a tight neck. Yes, if you raised your hand, you're definitely not alone. This is something that we experience culturally because of our postural patterns and because of the energetics of what it is that we're holding in our body in our posture. So typically what's creating a scenario for tight shoulders and a tight neck are a variety of reasons, but a couple of the main ones is going to be that the shoulders, they're closing, they're narrowing, they're going in and down, which drops the front ribs down. And when we have this pattern going, dropping the front shoulders, narrowing the front shoulders, then it's much easier for the head to fall forward. And then we're looking down. Well, just think about for a moment how much you're looking down throughout the day. And you may not have any awareness of how much you're looking down because it's really never been brought to your attention and you're just not aware yet. And that's okay, it's okay. But oftentimes we're looking down at our devices, phones, tablets, computers. We're looking down, breastfeeding a child. We're looking down when it is that we're walking. I'm definitely not anti-looking down. I'm a huge fan of looking in all sorts of different directions. We just need to know what it is that we're doing perpetually that can be straining and then eventually creating pain in the body. So if we're constantly looking down and folding the front shoulders forward, then it's going to be much more likely that we tuck our butt and just go into this rounded C curve that compresses the front of the body and it hyperextends the back of the body and disconnects us from the natural curves of our spine. It disconnects us from nature. In this scenario, then the head, if it's dropping forward, it's falling off of its 0 point place on the spine where we can actually hold this like 10-pound bowling ball on the top of our spine, and it can feel weightless if it's done correctly. So if it's going forward, it's adding a lot of weight to the muscles on the back of the neck and the top of the shoulders. Also in this pattern, if we're looking down, we're closing the front throat and we're shortening those muscles. Done perpetually, it's going to be harder and harder to lift the head because these muscles at the front of the neck feel so tight. So a couple of things that I'll be guiding you through today is there's going to be a focus on the rib cage and expanding and opening the rib cage. This is going to be the key to unlocking our shoulders and our neck. We want the shoulders to be wide and broad. If you can think about like the 1980s and the 1990s, I totally just dated myself. But remember when shoulder pads were a thing, right? Like these broad, strong shoulders, and then it became not a thing. But we want the shoulders to be wide, broad, and full. All of that is coming from the open energy through our ribs. Typically in a lot of fitness or yoga programs, we're drawing the shoulders on the back and creating an imbalance through the shoulders through drawing the scapula blades together. So I'm going to be encouraging you to go wide through the back heart, open through the front heart, and then lift the ribs. And as a result, we begin to open the shoulders. Also be helping you to lift your chin out of your throat to begin opening these muscles at the neck that can get so freaking tight. I just want to speak very quickly about the energetics of this posture of closed shoulders and dropped head. Usually then that's going to ripple again into the hips and we're going to be tucking the butt. And this posture is just, it's sheepish. It is a posture of depression. It's a posture of high self-insecurity, not feeling confident, not believing in ourselves, not trusting the world. And it's okay to be in this posture momentarily. Sometimes we need to like lick our wounds. That's me licking the wound. Sometimes we need to visit it and we need to close and we need to drop our chin down and in and tuck ourselves into a ball. We just don't want to get stuck there. And many people are stuck there and they don't even know it. Or maybe they're just they're stuck there and they're confused on why it is that they feel tight. Well, it has a lot to do with how it is that we're holding our body in all of our everyday things. So those are just some insights about what it is that I get to share with you today. Again, I'm so excited that you're here. For our movement, please have one block available, one or two, and some wall space. Face, everyone. Okay, we're gonna start in a kneeling position. So if you have one block or even better, two, go ahead and grab them, and I'm gonna place them on top of each other. And then you'll lower your body to the ground and step your hips on the blocks like so. Then your knees are hip width distance, so they're not super wide, but they're hip width distance. Go ahead and lift your butt from your blocks and grab your butt cheeks, pull your butt cheeks up and wide, and then lower your hips to the block. And I'll just start with a little bit of grounding. You can close your eyes and begin to connect with a deep breath through your nose. Feel your belly inflate, and then let that breath expand through your ribs. And just to invite yourself to your practice, how lovely it is that you've turned on this video to demonstrate care and love for yourself. Just take that in. It's no small feat whenever we've turned on a movement video, an exercise video. So good job. Sweetly open your eyes and lift your arms. Give yourself a great big hug. Walk your hands to the backside of your shoulders, and you can lower your elbows towards the front chest. I just can't because of my mic. And enjoy a few deep breaths here that help encourage the back of the heart to open. Begin to breathe your side ribs wide like they're gills of a fish. Lift the ribs away from your hips so you get longer through the belly, and then relax the top of your shoulders, these traps. Relax your traps. Lift your ribs once again and root your hips into the block so they go back and wide. We're going to lift the ribs and take an arc to the left. Lift your right ribs away from your right waistline. Lift your chin out of your throat so your ear can soften behind or towards your left shoulder. Lift the ribs, and then let's go in the opposite direction. Right. You arc to the right, left ribs elevating towards the sky. Untuck your butt so that your belly gets longer to allow the ribs to rise higher, and then arc, lift through center. And let's all cross the right arm over the left. Take your left hand to the base of your left rib and give yourself a massage here. I'm massaging at the underarm and then just this whole right rib cage. There's a lot of terrain there, and I just invite you to palpate. So as I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, a huge culprit for tightening up our shoulders and feeling so much tension in our neck is our ribs. And if our ribs are deflated, then that's going to create tightness in a lot of places in our body. Hold your right rib cage with your left hand. Enjoy a deep breath there. And then you're going to lift your ribs, not just protrude your front ribs, but you want your back heart to lift too, and then arc to the left. Lift your right ribs into your left hand. Then take your gaze down into the left. So you're like looking 6 inches from your left shin in that region. Use that to help fill your bottom right rib cage. Lift your chin out of your throat now. Arc your ear to your shoulder as you elevate right ribs towards the sky. Relax your traps. Deepen your breath as you lift yourself back to center. Switch out the cross of the arms. Use your right hand. Oh, holy moly. It's just such a good massage to massage the left side of the ribs. Oof, we get so tight here, especially the underarms, the side ribs. Oof. I definitely welcome any verbal expressions. It can help move energy when it's done mindfully. Now hold your left rib cage with your right hand. Hold yourself like you mean it. Don't grab. Hold yourself like you're giving yourself a big hug. Push in and begin to pull up on the left rib cage with the right hand as you take the ribs up and then to the right. Reach your hips evenly back behind you and let your belly bow forward. Deepen your breath through your belly as you elevate the left bottom ribs. Look down and to the right momentarily. Use that to fill the left rib cage. Enjoy a breath there. Then lift your chin out of your throat once again. Arc the right ear to the behind the right shoulder. Left ribs lift into the air. And inhale, come to center. Awesome. Okay, give yourself a little neck massage. So the fingers are on the back of the neck and the thumb is in the front. And the way that I'm massaging here is very mindful, and I'm pressuring in with my fingers and helping to elongate the front of the throat where we're typically very, very closed. That actually impacts how we age and the whole energy through the neck. So we want the spool of the neck to be long, just giving yourself a little massage there. Lift your chin out of your throat. Space your teeth and seal your lips. Let your tongue come to the upper palate. And then your right hand is going to cross to massage the left traps. Your left hand can hold the outside of your right elbow as you just massage here. You're pushing in and pulling forward. And then walking your right hand up the back side of the left neck, the left side of the neck. So you're massaging to the side of the spine and then release. I just have to pull out the glutes, so I'll, do that as many times. If you ever feel like you're tucking under, go wide with the glutes. Wow, just feel the left side compared to the right side. And let's do the other side. So left hand, it's gonna cross to start massaging the right traps, the upper shoulder, and then as it's massaging here, you can begin to walk the left hand to the side/back, the right side of the neck. So then I'm pushing in and helping it to pull forward. But when I pull forward, I'm not pulling my head forward, right? I'm leaning my head back so that we can really start to mold and integrate this really powerful cervical curve. Okay. Now, release your hands. Just feel that for a moment. Holy moly, wow, so much more blood flow is moving through my body. How are you feeling? Okay. And then lift the arms forward, up and out. And then let's take the hands to the back of the head. Lift your chin out of your throat and narrow your shoulders. Now we want them to be just a tiny bit wider than the face, not closing in on the face and not too wide, because if we go too wide with the elbows, we close the back heart. So go just a little bit wider. Lift your chin and fill your back heart. Let your booty bloom into the blocks behind you as you arc the ribs to the left. Lift your right ribs into the air. Lean back and arc the ribs to the sky. Let your breath travel through your belly, opening up your ribs. And inhale, come through center. And please now arc to the right. Elevate your left ribs into the air. Close your eyes to deepen your experience with the sensations of what it is that you're feeling, experiencing, just being present to yourself. Inhale, lift through center. Really good job, everybody. Release your hands from your head and extend your arms forward, up and out. You can curl your fingers in. We call this seed hand. I won't detail that today though. Then lift your hips from your block. Squeeze the block, point the toes back and then push the tops of the feet, like where your shoelaces are, down and forward, and you can feel your front ankles lift. Then gently sitting the hips back towards the block. Don't drop your butt. So we're not just sitting like this, okay? No scared dogs. Sit wide, pull the tops of the feet gently forward to feel the lift of the front of the ankles as you slowly lower your hands to the ground, stepping your hands forward into an all fours position. Go ahead and step your blocks aside. And in this all fours position, set yourself up for success through stepping your hands 2 inches wider and more in front of your shoulders. So look at my body here. They're not stacked under the shoulders. That's gonna narrow and tighten the shoulders, so we wanna go broad and wide. Give yourself that space. They're stepped at a diagonal. Move your hips from side to side in an untucked position. So that means that your butt is lifting towards the sky, it's not dropping towards the ground. Then begin to arc the ribs left and right. Notice when you push into the ground with your hands that you fill the back ribs and you open the side ribs. Come through center. Now we're momentarily going to close the front of our body with the purpose of opening our back heart. Listen carefully. You can drop your butt for a moment. Draw your chin in towards your chest and arc your upper back towards the sky. Push into the ground to elevate the back heart. And take an arc to the left. Reach your right ribs out of your waistline. Deepen your breath. Connect with your back bottom ribs. Inhale, come through center and arc to the right. Extend your left ribs out of your hips. It's lifting away from the ribs. And then you're circulating your air through the back bottom ribs. Inhale, come to center. Keep your back heart full as you untuck your butt. Push into the ground to open your front heart while also maintaining the back heart full as you lift your chin out of your throat. Push the tops of the feet down and forward, and then take 5 pulses forward and back. Pulse inside of your curves. So what do I mean by that? If you're pulsing, if you go too far back, look what happens to the hips. We neglect this curvature of the spine, and that's not going to be healthy. So we're only going to go back to the extent that you can keep the booty wide, the sitting bones broad. Great. Walk the feet together and the knees apart. The knees are about as wide as your yoga mat. Push into the ground. Ooh, elevate your vibrant, radiant heart. And walk your hands up and over to the left. Take a few steps. Now, the position of the hands is wider than your shoulders. They're also in front of your shoulders. And then begin to pole vault over your left shoulder. Whoa, sit the right hip back. So we're energizing and creating more space in the right side body as you enjoy some pulses. Sit back. Let your breath be long. So sweet, in and out through your nose. Can you feel the space that you're creating between your ribs, the bottom of your right ribs and the top of your right hip? Opening your waistline, so healthy for all of our organs. Walk your hands through center. Keep the knees wide and the feet together. And then walk your hands up and over to the right. Sit the left hip back inside of the pelvic tilt and arc the ribs to the right. Sit back and arc. 3, 2, creating more space between the bottom of the ribs and the top of the hips. And 1. All right, walk your hands to center. Big part of our shoulders are our armpits. So what's going on with the armpits here? I'm so glad you asked. Okay, in this all fours position, so step your feet apart and your knees more together. So we're just in a traditional all fours position. And then just go ahead and drop your ribs. Just drop them, let them be heavy momentarily. This is not good for our wrists, so we won't be here long. But just notice with your right hand, go ahead and just palpate your left armpit. And can you feel that it's super collapsed? Like there's not much space there. Go ahead and with collapsed ribs, do it on the opposite side. So your left hand, it palpates your right armpit and it's like, there's just not a lot of space, okay? So now we're gonna find radiant heart, and what happens to our ribs or our armpits when we feel the ribs, push into the ground to lift your ribs, and you're smiling open through your collarbones and your butt is untucked. Lift your chin out of your throat. Okay, keep that energy so full through the ribs. Let's do an armpit check. With the ribs full and lifting, right hand lifts, and now palpate your left armpit. Can you feel how much more open it is? Yeah, okay, right hand lowers, switch it out, left hand, lift your ribs. Can you feel how much more open the armpit is? Awesome, that's good news. Keep your armpits open as you then take 3 more pulses here with that energy in mind. Shoulders wide and broad, ribs full and lifted. Come through center, curl your toes under. Lift, push your feet into the ground to lift your knees and step your feet wide. Crouching cat. Point the toes forward. Now check it out. Let's all bend into the knees momentarily and shine your butt towards the sky. Let your ribs momentarily drop back to your thighs. Now push into the ground with your arms and reach your ribs in opposition of your hips. We're gonna pulse with that energy of the ribs moving in opposition of the hips as you bend and extend your legs. Deepen your breath and let yourself meet the challenge. This is not easy, this alignment practice and this work, but the juice is worth the squeeze, my friends. You get so strong from it. The nature of building strength is to do hard things. So just love yourself for showing up. And then with the feet stepped wide, walk your hands halfway back, grab your block and place it on the tallest setting. Step the block, arms width distance. Look at my wrists are not stacked below my shoulders. They're more in front. They're at the diagonal. Push into the block to elevate the ribs. Bend into your knees without dropping your butt. Take the weight more forward into the front of the foot and your light through the heels. Extend now your legs towards the sky, your legs long, your butt towards the sky, and then bend a few inches and extend. I'm not moving my arms here in this pulse. I'm just moving my legs. 3, 2, and 1. Bend into your left leg and extend your right. Take your hips to the left. Bend fully into your legs. Take your hips now to the right. Bend legs, then extend your right leg. Now pause here for a moment and bend your right knee and lift your right butt towards the sky. Come through center. Bend into your right leg, extend your left. Micro bend your left knee. Lift your left butt towards the sky. And now 2 more with those in mind. Usually the energy of the knee goes back, which will hyperextend the knee, and that's not going to be good for our joint health. All right, walk your hands to your thighs and lift your ribs. Come to a standing position. Step the feet shoulder width distance and enjoy a couple of sways. With your hands swaying at the bottom of your body just to help calibrate your nervous system. And then you're lifting your heels as you sway in each direction. You're keeping your toes and your paws rooted to the ground. Wonderful. Coming through center, let's open the back bottom ribs once again. Left wrist crosses over right. Micro bend your elbows and it's more at the bottom part of your body. Draw your chin in and then push your hands to the right and your ribs to the left. Take a deep breath into your left rib cage filling. This is the key to opening up our shoulders, my friends. Untuck your butt so your belly stays long. Come through center, switch out. The right wrist crosses over the left. Front shoulders narrow momentarily. Draw your chin in towards your chest as you take your arms down and to the left and push your right ribs wide. Untuck your butt. Equal resistance of the wrists pushing into each other. Opening your ribs with this movement and your breath is so mighty. And inhale, lift. Now we're going to take the sway up top. And the arms are going to be in the front plane of the body. And just take some sways. Open your belly, root your hips. Close your eyes and just come into yourself. Allowing your awareness to just circulate inside the inner terrain of your mind, body, and heart. Keep your hands high. And then cross your left wrist over your right. Listen carefully. With the feet pointing forward, you're going to arc your left ear behind your left shoulder. Lift your chin, equal resistance of the wrists into each other as you arc the ribs to the right. Bend your knees and sit your bum back. Lift and arc. So we're, again, lengthening the side body. I'm just giving you a few different viewpoints of my body doing this, so it can be the most informative for your experience. When you bend your knees, you don't drop your butt. This is so common. When we bend the knees, we do this. Go back with the butt, but take the weight more forward into the paws. Lift. That's the front of the feet, is the paws. Lift through center. Right wrist crosses over left. Left ear arcs behind left shoulder. Elevate your right ribs towards the sky. Lean back, but keep your arms more forward as you bend and extend. Equal resistance of the wrists into each other. Close your eyes, and you're so long through your central channel, so wide through your radiant heart. Coming home to vitality when we are plugging into the nature of our bodies. Inhale, lift and sway. Now keep your ribs full, my friends, and lower your hands by your side. Lift your chin out of your throat. Bring a micro bend into your knees without losing the pelvic tilt forward. Lift your back ribs away from your lower back. This is a standing neutral position. Just feel this. It might feel very foreign to your body and to your mind right now, but the more we practice it, the less foreign it will feel. Okay, so please come to a wall space where we're gonna open the shoulders in a really juicy way. Okay, here's my wall space. It's a little bit awkward because I don't have a blank wall space, but this will do. And this exercise, please place your right hand at the wall, and it's about a 1/2 inch stepped higher than your shoulder. And then the right side of your body is gonna come to the wall. And just notice that the right scapula blade comes in when we rotate our ribs to the left. So we want to keep the ribs full and the scapula blades wide through this opening as best as we can. So place your left hand in front of the chest at the wall. And then with your right fingers, you're just gonna kind of grab the wall ever so subtly. And then instead of letting the right elbow go into the wall and up, it's actually gonna go wide and away from the wall ever so subtly. Okay, fill your ribs. And then root your fingertips, micro bend the elbow, and then slowly begin to rotate your ribs to the left, maybe like 2 millimeters. It really doesn't have to be very much, but you can feel it's a real active engagement, especially with that elbow going wide rather than just in. Yeah. Okay, and then slowly lower. Just take a little sway. And then with the left hand, you're gonna place it at the wall about a 1/2 inch higher than your shoulder. And then slowly begin to place the right hand in front of the chest. Rotate the left elbow wide. And the purpose is not to get the shoulder to the wall. No, it's just to open inside of engagement. Now fill your ribs. Just opening a deep breath, untuck your butt, lift your chin out of your throat, and exhale. Take a little sway. And then let's just take some organic movement here because we're at the wall, baby, and you're in a bowspring class, baby. And I always think that's something to rejoice with. Yeah. And then, just through these awarenesses that I'm sharing with you, I want you to become more alive with sensation of what is going on in your body when you're not thinking about it. Is it this? Is it this? And it's from awareness is the precursor to change. We have to start generating awareness of what it is our default patterns are doing and how they're creating so much tightness in the body. Let's do the shoulder opening one more time. Okay. So fill the ribs. Right hand will come to the wall. Step to 1/2 inch higher than your shoulder. Left hand comes in front of your chest to the wall. Then engage that right arm so you're slowly, it's a spring hand. For any of my people familiar with bowspring, it's a vibrant spring hand, so it's very alive. As you widen the elbow out, lift your ribs and widen the elbow once again. Lift your chin, deepen your breath. Exhale, release. Let's take it to the other side. Left hand is stepped ever so slightly higher than the ribs. Elbow wide, rooting the fingertips. Opening this front chest, shoulders. Exhale, slowly release. And then let's just do a little recalibration with the arms to the sky. Just find a little dance move here. Yeah. With a deep breath and a really, really, just movement has an opportunity to calm our nervous system if we're doing it. So if we're doing it mindfully and we're breathing deeply. Okay, let's come back to our space. Okay, in a standing position, please lift your left hand, cross it at the front of your body with it to hold the right side of your neck. Begin to, with your hand, fingers all together, begin to push in and gently draw the back of the neck forward. Lift your chin out of your throat. Then the right hand is going to cross the body to hold the left ribs. Okay, pause with your hands. Breathe your left rib cage wide into your right hand. Then gently pull the right side of your neck forward with your left hand. Thank God we only have two sides, my friends. I would not be able to do this. You're just gently pulling it forward, but leaning your head back in opposition. Lift your left elbow from your body. Beautiful. Bend and extend here for 3. When you bend, keep the ribs lifting. Keep the hips rooting. Then arc to the left. Lift your chin out of your throat. Arc over your right hand with your left ribs. Inhale, lift, release the hands. Cross the front of the body with the right hand to hold the left side of the neck and the back of the neck. And it's in this cup hand position. And you're just helping to mold the tissue. Then your left hand can cross the front of your body to hold your right ribs. Pause the 2. Push into the right ribs with your left hand. Breathe your right ribs into your left hand. Then you're just gently using your fingers to push forward with the neck, and then you're going to arc to the right. Sit your hips back. You're only pulling forward on your neck with 1% of your energy. It's not very much. A little can go a long way. And then inhale, lift. Open the arms. Sit, step wide with the feet. Sit, reach back with the hips, reach the ribs forward, lower the hands to the ground. Step your hands forward, step your feet back, crouching cat position. Push into the ground to elevate your front and your back heart. Micro bend your elbows wide. Bend into your knees, sit your hips towards the sky. Keep the opposition of your ribs and your hips as you slowly pulse. If you were to do an armpit check, would your armpits be collapsed? We want the armpits to stay hollow and full. That lifts into the mounding, the broadness of the shoulders. And then walk your feet together. Lower your left foot to the ground, your right foot and your right knee to the ground. Just take a moment to wag your tail. Okay, feet together, knees apart. We were here before. This is a version of what we call puppy pose. The hands are wider more in front of the shoulders. Shift your weight into your left hand, lift your right hand, and we're gonna slide it underneath the left wrist. Again, it's at a subtle diagonal, coming onto the outer pinky, and then reaching it forward, slowly lowering the right back of the shoulder to the ground. Lift your chin and lower the right side of the top of the head to the ground. Your left hand will step a little bit more forward. Push your right arm, your right shoulder into the ground, and do you feel that broadness? Bloom your butt back. Lift your chin out of your throat, and your left elbow, it lifts closer to the sky. Breathe energy through your back heart, allowing your radiance to shine brighter. Push down through the left arm, come up through center. Puppy all fours, then shift right, left hand slides at a diagonal underneath the right wrist. Lower the outside of the left shoulder to the ground. Lift your chin out of your throat. I give you this view. Okay, then walk your left hand a little bit higher, pushing your right hand and your left hand into the ground to fill your ribs. Right elbow lifts towards the sky, then untuck your butt. You're placed on the head in a way that your chin is lifted, not collapsing. Push down to rise high, and then take a couple of movements with your hips left and right. And they're not dropping down, left and right. And On your next exhalation, let's do a humble cat. Okay, walk the knees together and your feet apart so you're in a standard all fours position. Let's get some booty action going on too, because why not? Okay, push the feet down and forward. Push the knees energetically wide into your mat and bloom your butt up towards the sky. Soften your belly but fill your ribs. Root your hips. Your core muscles will engage when you lengthen the ribs and the hips away from each other. Shift left and hover your right knee next to your left, and then we're gonna lift and lower. Relax the toes back, pull the body of the foot slightly forward up towards your knee. 10. Now notice if the ribs are dripping and the shoulders, they are coming up towards the head and the neck. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, that's also a tendency, is the shoulders to go up towards the head. We don't want that. So we want them to go wide and create more space at the sides of the neck. Big deep breath, keep your ribs full, armpits so engaged, elbows slightly micro bended, rooting through your fingertips just like we did at the wall. Open your right leg and step your right foot to align with the center of your left shin. Humble cat. Bloom your butt towards the sky. And we're gonna kickstand the left foot, meaning that it steps wide to the side. It just steps a step. Okay, the right foot, it's not in a 90 degrees from the to the mat, it's just more at a diagonal, okay, ever so slightly. Then you're gonna stack your right knee over the left toe, over the right toes. Bloom your butt back. Sit back, pulse forward. Push into the ground, elevate your right hand, hold the back of your head, then arc your left ear behind your left shoulder, take your gaze to the left hand, and narrow your top elbow in. Lift your chin out of your throat and arc the right ribs towards the sky. Simultaneously sit the butt back. Then you're moving inside of these arcs. So you're arcing and you're simultaneously getting long. I like to imagine pole vaulting over the left shoulder. It helps me keep that visual that I want to keep broad through the left shoulder. Lift your chin so your neck is open. And 1, we'll do a hip hook here. Walk the right hand to the back of the butt. Push in and pull up. Now usually the elbow, it collapses back. We want the elbow to lift, so that the right shoulder, it goes broad. Yeah, the right shoulder, it goes broad. Top elbow towards the sky. Lift your chin out of your throat, my friends. Your gaze is about a foot in front of your left fingertips. Lift your chin, and then slowly as you reach the head back, reach the chin forward. 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Lower your right hand. Step your left foot back to center. Lower your right foot and your right knee. Wag your tail to take a moment off of the hands, give them a shake out. How you doing? Okay, grab a sip of water if you need to. And let's do the other side. Okay, let's transition from a standing kneeling pose. So you can take your hands to your hips. You're just gonna push the tops of the feet down and forward. Then reach your hips back so the sitting bones stay broad. Reach the arms forward and lower your hands to the ground. All fours position. Shift right, lift left, lift and lower. Make sure that you're set up at that real strong foundation that I've been guiding you through. So that's with the hands wider and more in front of the shoulders. It's very subtle. And at no point are you tucking your butt. We're not doing these. Untuck your butt if you want to get the butt lift, which I bet you do. You and me both. Okay, but check in with your armpits. So we want the elbows wide, root your fingertips like you're palming a basketball, and then lift your ribs and you'll feel your armpits get more engaged. Space your teeth and lift your chin out of your throat, but please don't kink the back of your neck. That's not what we're doing, okay? It's just more forward. Not too hot, not too cold, but right in the middle. Okay, here for 5, 4, breathe into the sensations of the heat building, of the challenge, and 1. Open your left leg and step your left foot to align with the center of your right shin. Step the left foot to be more at a diagonal. Untuck your butt towards the sky. The left knee, it opens above the toes. It doesn't collapse in. If we have really tight inner thighs, it's going to collapse in, and we want to open those inner thighs by encouraging the knees to go a little bit wider to stack above the foot, but then untuck your butt. Great. Push into the ground to fill your ribs, and then step your right foot a step wide to the right. Push the top of the right foot where your shoelaces are down and forward. You'll feel the front ankle lift. Sit your hips high to the sky and then push your arms into the ground to fill your ribs. Feel your ribs go forward and your hips go back as you sweetly pulse. Opening the left hip in such a meaningful, healthy way. Then we'll shift into the right hand. Lift your left hand to hold the back of your head. Tuck the elbow in so it's just wide of the face and arc over your right shoulder. Untuck your butt. Engage the right arm through pushing your arm into the ground to fill the ribs, and then we pulse. You're rooting back to rise so high through the ribs. Lifting your chin from your throat helps to encourage the neck to get longer and more narrow. Space your teeth, seal your lips. Let your tongue come to your upper palate as you sip in 3 more big breaths. Micro bend your right elbow so we're never hyperextending any joints in the bowspring. Lift your left hand from your head, reach it around to grab your left butt cheek. Okay, so your hand is, your fingers are pointed towards your groin. The thumb is at the outer hip. You're going wide, and then you're gonna go up, and then, so it's going wide, up, and then in, wide, up, and in. Okay, so wide up and in towards your sacrum. Lift your top elbow towards the sky. Fill your bottom rib cage, hollow your right underarm, arc over your right shoulder as you take your gaze towards your right fingers, or maybe even a little bit in front of them. Slide your chin forward and you're gonna feel this really sweet opening through the whole left side of your neck, but it's a sustainable opening from the ribs, filling. 3, 2, and 1. Awesome, good job everybody. Lower your left hand, your left foot, and your left knee. Wag your tail. Think about what a happy dog does when it's happy. It's like, oh yeah, its butt is untucked, its tail is lifted. That's the same thing with us. We get like definitely a little mood boost when we communicate to our body cells happiness and joy, and it's in safety to open. Yeah, okay, curl your toes under. We're gonna lift the knees and then spin them to the left and lower your right hip to the ground. Slide your right hand to the left corner of your mat and go slow. You're gonna start by dripping your ear to your shoulder and then coming all the way down. Let's do a couple of twists before we call it a day. In this side position, you're gonna actually position your hips behind your ribs. Then lift your bottom right rib cage through pushing your hands into the ground to elevate your ribs. Drag your hands back to pull the ribs forward. Awesome. Then you can slide your top leg in front of your bottom leg. Now both of the legs are still bent and you're on the outside of your right thigh. You're not on the top of it, okay? Keep that engagement as you lift the feet about 4 inches from the ground. Push the knees down and forward. Can you feel how that impacts your hips? The hips go back and wide when you push the knees forward. Keep the hips anchored back and wide as you crawl up onto your forearms into what we call crawling baby hurdler. The elbows are shoulder width distance. Push into the ground with your forearms to elevate the heart, and then we're gonna take an arc to the left. Ooh, baby, baby. Really open the left rib cage. The right rib cage peels out of your waistline as the right hip roots back. Keep your feet floating as you sweetly pulse. The pulse is so unique to bowspring, and what it does is it helps to calm the nervous system when we're experiencing discomfort. It's also just an expression of life. dynamism. Okay, slide your right hand to the left corner of your mat. Now pull out your right ribs. Lower your right arm. Keep your feet floating in the air as you lift your left arm into the air. Push the knees down and forward. Lift the arm first like away, up away from your body. And then slowly lower it down so the arm is in alignment with your shoulder, maybe a slightly higher, but you'll get a real nice opening there. Now, if you push a little bit of energy through your bottom arm, you're gonna open your back heart, which is always like home. Always want the back heart to open. Good job, my friends. Come onto your back, step your body to the center of your space, and let's go to the other side. Left arm long, roll to your left side. Hips are stepped behind your ribs. Lift your bottom left rib cage. Drag the hands back to pull the ribs forward and lower your head to your arm, but lift your chin from your throat. Slide your top leg in front of your bottom leg. Okay. And then push the knees down and forward. Float the feet about 6 inches from the ground. And your hips go back. Let's even lift the right hand. We didn't do this on the opposite side, but that's okay. Take your right butt cheek, and then when you push your knees down and forward, can you feel your hips go back into your hand? Yeah, that's good news. Even walk your hand to your sacrum. We want the sacrum tilted up and in. Okay, maintain that energy through the legs as you walk up onto your forearms. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna push the forearms down into the mat, and then push your elbows wide. This is like 2% of your energy. It doesn't have to be very much, okay? But can you feel the broadness through your upper back? So good. Then arc the ribs to the right. Keep that broadness filling, but relax your upper shoulders, your trapezius muscles. Sometimes it's the trapezius muscles that want to lift the ribs rather than the ribs doing that themselves. So we want the trapezius muscles to stay just a quiet, arc the ribs to the right. 3, 2, and 1. Shift into your right arm, slide your left hand to the right corner of your mat. Pull out your left ribs. Then with your knees staying rooted and your feet staying lifted, lean your head back and then open your right arm first, lifting it above your body. This is gonna help lift the ribs out of the waist. Keep that lift as you slowly lower the right arm to be more at like a T. Woo, for a nice shoulder opener. Oh my goodness. Then push down through your bottom arm. Oh yes. Knees forward, hips back, ribs full, belly long, crown strong. Come onto your back. Really great job, my friend. Step yourself back to the center of your space. And walk your feet in, mound your glutes up, lift your arms towards the sky, but go wider than your shoulders, and just a little bit higher, just like we would be in an all fours. Lift your feet from the ground, but be sure to not draw your knees too far in, because what happens to your lower back? It deflates. So we want to keep that lower back curve, mounding the glutes up, then and reaching the knees more away from your body, but you can feel the curves of your spine here, yeah, especially when you lift your chin out of your throat. Back of the head mounding, neck lifting in a hollow, back of the ribs mounding, lower back hollow, booty mounding. Keep those mounds and hollows as you twist your knees to the right and reach your arms to the left. Take your gaze up and to the left. Come through center, knees to the left and arms to the right. 2 more times on each side at your own pace, keeping your pelvis tilted forward, especially when you come through center, because there's a really nice butt massage that's not to be missed, in my opinion. Last one. Lift your chin to give your neck freedom. Lengthen your neck curve to give your neck freedom. Come through center, lower your feet to the ground. Mound your glutes up through lifting your hips and pulling the glutes up with your hands. Slowly stretch each leg long and just give yourself a little massage at the back of your neck. So actually the right hand is gonna cross the right hand lifts, and it crosses the front of the body to hold the outside and the back of the left side of the neck. Just gently pull up on that. Space your teeth and seal your lips, and just take a couple of movements here, molding the shape of the neck to go long. Then the opposite. Left hand lifts, it crosses the front of the body. Mold the back of the neck up towards the throat. Then you're just going to take your thumbs or your fingers to your jaw. Open and close your jaw. Slide your hands up onto your head. Oh, let's open the mouth once again. Stretch the tongue. And slowly release the hands by your side. With your palms facing up. Allow yourself this resting place to assimilate all of the information and the space that you have accrued today in your practice. Let your body melt into the support of the ground. Touch your tongue to your upper palate. The lips, they can open, but you want the breath to go through your nose. And the space to open through your jaw, that really impacts our neck health and our hip health, our pelvic floor health. So let a relaxation move through your jaw. And in these final moments, can you actually breathe from your ribs? Breathe from your heart. Let your belly expand and then drop back into your body with each breath. For this final 30 seconds or so, let yourself get as relaxed as you possibly can. When you notice your mind wandering to your to-do list, that's the invitation to come into this present space once again. With a deep breath, slowly begin to move your fingers and your ankles, your wrists and your toes. Stretch your body, stretch your arms above your head, and then you're going to just really bow your belly, bloom your butt into the ground. Lift your knees away from the ground, but your heels are rooted. Yeah, then bend your knees, walk your feet in towards your hips. Roll to your left side and place your right hand in front of your chest. Push down and slowly rise up. Come into a kneeling position on one or two of your blocks. Mound the glutes up. Bring a soft prayer position in front of your chest with your elbows lifting and your heart full, your shoulders broad, your neck is long. Bow to yourself for giving yourself this movement medicine. A sweet demonstration of self-care and self-love that you can honor and bow into. And from that place of tending and caring for ourselves, we can that much more richly share our radiant heart with the world. Inhale, exhale, slowly extend the arms forward, up and out. To share our light with the world is good news. Good job, my friends. Really great job today. Please comment, let me know how this felt for you. Do you have any questions? Did any pain, strain come up during class? Do you feel better? I would love to know. The more that I know about you, the more that we can engage and I can help you. Okay, have a beautiful day. Thank you.